What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at Suship. This is the current deck profile I have for it, very different than the original way that I played this deck. And take this deck list for a grain of salt. I think this is a good model to start off of. Obviously, there's not enough going second cards, and I'm not really sure how I want to fix that. I don't know, but I'm happy with the consistency that I see, considering that most of the deck is consistency. But you'll see what I would do if you want to play Suship like this. I would take the deck list, get used to it for a while, and when you get good at these combo lines, you'll see that sometimes you have too many extenders, and you could probably put in some more going second cards. I'll talk about cards that you can side in when you know you're going second. This is just, I always like to go all out, assuming that I win the dice roll, because that's the best way that you're going to win with a silly little deck like this. Okay, so one copy of Gizmek Kaku. I don't know. Basically, the only reason I play this is a fire machine monster, and it's a really good small world target. Technically, it is a going second card. It's not the best, but there's sometimes I feel like it can come up, right? 2750 attack, free special summon. It basically attaches monsters, equip cards, and brings them back. It's not the worst card ever printed in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's pretty good. It helps you get anywhere. Because this is a machine, it goes together with Time Thief Regulator. It's really one of the main reasons. Otherwise, I would only play Ash Blossom because it's a fire and it just connects you to all of your Suships. But sometimes, if you see Small World in your hand first, definitely the play you want to go for is Time Thief Regulator because it's the best normal summon, in rank 4s. So speaking of, here's my engine. It's Time Thief Winder, which searches Time Thief Adjuster, and then brings out Basil Ship. You don't want to run 2 because this has to bring it out from the deck. The chances of you opening this and 2 of these is really, really small, statistically speaking. And if you do, you just take it. It's it is what it is. But if you have this in your hand, it's no big deal. This just searches the other one. If you have this in your hand, you can search these two. It's just not these two kind of do the same thing in terms of just bringing itself out from the hand. Okay, and I talked about 3 Time Thief Regulator. It's so cool. It just gets your engine going. Gets you so many rank 4 bodies. I think 4. One copy of Ascended Sage. Kind of weird, but you don't want to run more copies because it actually does mess with Time Thief Regulator. And then I do run a little Magikey engine. It's literally only 2 cards. It's Mafteal and then Beto Bluster. So I do run 3 copies of High Ritual Art. This brings it out from the deck. So this is a free rank 4 from the deck. All you have to do is tribute a normal monster in your hand, which is it's so easy to do in this deck. And then it also searches out Mafteal, and that's super duper important because Mafteal brings back your Suship, Shari. It can give you a rank 4. It's a free rank 4 without using your normal summon. But more importantly, it brings us out into the hand and brings one out into the field, and brings one in your hand, which is very important for all the Suship names. I run 1 copy of Singing Lanius. I used to run the Raid Raptor. It is just a 4 extender. You can take this out. Literally, like I said, it's not a perfect deck list. But it's been in my hand, and I've used it as an extender. It is what it is. It's not really that important, but you can use it. Because I do run 2 Utopia Future Draco, and you can kind of take out a few other things. Maybe you want to take out a Bistwell or something stupid like that. But just one of these little silly tech cards and just run more extenders, you can do that. It just makes it really easy to go into F-Zero. So 3 copies of Shari. Uni's really important because it's really easy to get these into your hand. That's the easiest part about all of this is to get the name, to get it in the hand. Getting it on the field is a little bit more difficult. So that's why you have to run the most copies of this. These depend on you having Suship Shari on the field. So running them at 3 is honestly, in my opinion, not optimal. It is technically searchable too through the Gunkin Suship Shari Red, which is great because it's searchable with Painful Decision, right? You can send one, it has the same name, so you get to add a copy of it, which is great. And you can just use this card's effect to bring this guy out, to go into it, to search the continuous spell. And you just want to go into that as early as possible because basically, if you've already used one of the names, your opponent's just going to give you one. And I'll show you that here in a replay in just a second. But 3 copies of Ash, it's a really good small world bridge, or it can be. It's also just basic interruption, obviously. It's the most used card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Painful Decision, rank up Magic Utopia 4, small world, High Ritual Art. This is one of the best decks, I think, if not the best deck to use this in. Called by the Grave. Again, Overlay Network's another one of those weird cards. So maybe you can take out Overlay Network, and then you can take out Singing Lanius, and then just kind of go from there. And then this is Gunkin Suship Catch of the Day. It's basically a searcher. Really important card. It kind of changes the entire complexion of the deck. On to the extra deck. I have a couple copies of F-Zero. You get to make 2 of them. It's a soft once per turn, which is really great. So the whole goal here is to make 2 of these if you can. Abyss Dweller is like the 1 tech spot. The extra deck is really, 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 really tight. So, I mean, you can put whatever you want here, but this is like the tech spot. There's only 1. A couple copies. I tried to only run this at 1, but you can. It's like so difficult to. I mean, maybe you could and you can fix it and you can kind of figure it out. But there's so many times where I've needed multiple copies of Suship Shari in my hand, and it's obviously just good F-Zero fodder too. Utopic Sage just gets your Utopia engine going. The 2, I only run 2, and I guess you could take out this and run the 3rd. But so this is the Gunkin Suship Shirao class carrier. This brings this out from the deck, and then it also lets you search the continuous spell on top of drawing cards. There are some like major advantages of playing this deck. It's really, really cool. This one just lets you draw a card literally. It's a rank 4. That's the importance of it. It helps you go into F-Zero. And then you regular Utopia, Utopia Prime, Hope Harbinger. Because you run like potentially have 2 F-Zeros up on the board, I like to run number 92, and you'll see one replay where it kind of makes sense. Well, it does. This is really good. If your opponent sets 5, they lose because it banishes everything during the end phase. And then number 99. The side deck, if you know you're going second, I would probably take out the high ritual art stuff. And that gives you 5 cards to side in just right there. I already talked about 2 more, so we're talking about maybe 7 cards. So you can kind of transform this deck into its traditional way of being played, which is going second, with Zeus. And I also just run like other Zeus stuff, like the Zodiac package, Exciton Knight, all that kind of stuff. And everything else is pretty standard, right? Lightning Storm, Harpies, Droll and Lockbird, Nibiru. You can kind of put whatever you want there, but those are just like generically good. So let me show you a couple of replays just to show you. This is against Sword Soul. So I have a really, really good opening here. I get to start by ritual summoning from the deck, which searches me Magikey. So you won't see any Time Thief stuff here, which is really cool. I think one of them actually used Time Thief as an extender in my hand, not the regulator, but the winder, to show that it's not really a brick if you open them in your hand. They're just kind of extenders. You can just bring a bunch of stuff out. So this is going to search me the continuous spell and draw me a card. Now I'm going to use the effect, but of course he's going to choose the one that he already saw me use. But it does end up just being a free plus. Can't complain too much. Or maybe he doesn't. Yeah, maybe I hadn't used it. Yeah, I think it may be in the other replay where I've used this before. My opponent just kind of chooses it. But if your opponent doesn't know, everything is pretty much on the board. Your opponent just gets to pick Sushi for you, which is obviously like the whole like fun part of the deck. Now I won't be able to use this unfortunately, but I don't need to, and I actually have like so many extenders that I like can't use them all. So this is like a replay that gives me, like, oh, maybe I can cut down on some of this stuff, especially Overlay Network. I just don't think it's super necessary, but I don't know. But this is pretty good. 2 monster negates, a spell negate, and I do have Called by the Grave. Kind of a, obviously no going second cards for him. That was kind of unfortunate, but let's see what ends up happening here. Okay, so he's going to go for probably just Moyi. It kind of has all the extenders, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to take that. It's a level 4, so let me go ahead and do that. That is going to go into Baron, but he doesn't. He does try to go to the battle phase. I'm also battle protected, which is just absurd. This deck can do some really crazy stuff. I really like how unique it is. It doesn't feel like any of the other rank 4 decks, even though some of the monsters may be the same. Double F-Zero is really unique. I can't really think of a lot of decks who can like actually feasibly do it. There just aren't that many rank 4 extenders, and the ones that are for like normal monster support, which obviously is like what this is all about. This is a weird one against just Time Lords, but he does have a lot of going second cards. So I always run all my stuff in defense position other than F-Zero because it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Everything else I play around Lightning Storm, and this is like literally the reason here. So in this case, here we go. I was trying to talk about that last replay, right? I'm going to use the effect to add one to my hand, and he sees I have this on the board. Maybe I should have done my plays, and then he kind of would have forgotten what I have, but it doesn't really matter. It did end up just being a free plus. Winder in the hand is not a brick, right? You can just special summon it for free from your hand as long as you have an XYZ monster. And you never use all of your materials. The only one you do is for ZS, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm going to have a decent form. I'm going to have, F-Zero, Hope, Harbinger, and then I do also get to banish all of his monsters, or anything that was set or special summon this turn. So he's going to go ahead and go for Lava Golem, Lightning Storm. Doesn't really do anything. Burns him for 5, why not? And then there we go. I was kind of hoping he'd set 5 and pass, but he did set a back row, and that's kind of what I use it for. All I really need to do is go for game here. He does end up having Battle Fader, which is just kind of unfortunate. But what are you going to do? He's going to have a few life points left, but I can go ahead and set up another F-Zero. I think I go into Abyss Dweller. And yeah, I get to draw an extra card. I was kind of hoping for a hand trap. Basil was in the graveyard from forever ago. I can use that. Could have stuck with the Abyss Dweller, but I don't really think he has anything like in the graveyard. I didn't even really know what he was playing, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that. And then doesn't destroy it, which is pretty cool. Very unique effect for F-Zero. And then he just kind of scoops. But yeah, that is Suships. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that's going to do it for today's video. And I will see you guys next time.